CeCe is one of the best to ever do it. The thing when you see CeCe, is such an easygoing personality, gets along with everybody, makes everyone feel welcome around him, just wants to be involved and around, and I think the guys really gravitate to him when he comes in.
Amazing career. I know he's watching all the time, but what a remarkable career.
It is so great to have you with us on Yankees Batting Practice today, presented by Audi. Sometimes greatness can be so clear in players. They step up when it matters. They shine on the biggest stages, and they take pride in what they do on and off the field. Today, Karsten Charles Sabathia takes his rightful place among the greats.
I'm nervous, obviously. You know, you walk through the hall or the lobby here and you see all these Hall of Famers walking through and you're like, what am I doing here? You know, you kind of feel like a fan all over again. But I'm excited. Like, I know the speech is looming in the back of my mind, in the back of everybody's mind, but it's gonna happen. It was a village of people that got me to this spot. You know, starting in Vallejo, California, and I think, you know, that's what my speech is about. You know, the village of women, you know, my mom, my grandmother, my aunts. They'll be walking across that stage with me. So I'm super excited to have all of them here, to be able to celebrate with them and for them to get their recognition. My kids, I am super grateful for. They are my biggest accomplishment, and I think without my family, without Amber, my career ends up a totally different than, you know, what you see today. So, you know, having a chance to drive up here with Karsten 1 for Jeter's induction, and then I came 2 years later for Carter when he turned 12, and then having the both of them in the car and driving up here for my induction. It's a surreal moment, and I just feel blessed that, you know, I had Amber here to help raise the kids, not help, to raise the kids while I was, you know, off doing my thing, and just super excited that they're all here. You know, I always say, you know, I was born and raised in Vallejo, California, but I grew up in Cleveland. I got to that organization when I was 17 years old, and, you know, having that type of support and development that they kind of poured into their young players is the reason why I'm sitting here. So I owe a lot to that organization. I think my biggest regret in baseball is not winning the championship for that organization or not pitching well enough to put us in position to win a championship. But I'm so grateful for the people in Cleveland, my time in Cleveland, my teammates in Cleveland, that organization, because, you know, everybody talks about playing the game. The way I played the game was, you know, with passion, played it hard, and being a good teammate, and that all started in that organization. At the time when I was making the decision, it was the furthest thing away from my mind. I did not want to come to New York. It was the furthest place away from my home. You know, I thought I'd end up an Angel or a Dodger and be close to California or in California to play. But when it came down to it, you know, me and Amber thought about a place that we wanted to live, wanted to raise our kids. And we said, we'll play anywhere on the planet as long as our family's together. And, you know, me being a winner or wanting to win, there's no other place to come than New York, right? Like, you can't say you want to win and then sign somewhere other than New York when they're offering you a contract. So I'm so glad that, you know, Cash, my wife, and everybody kind of pushed me to make this decision, and it's been the best decision that we made. Having a chance to play with the Core Four and just understand the way that they worked. I always tell the story about my first day in spring training, and, you know, we're going out on the field, and this was 2009. You know, I'm coming off Cy Young in 07, pitched great in 08 in Milwaukee down the stretch, and, you know, at this point, I'm not a runner anymore. Like, I don't run outside. I do my cardio indoors and all this stuff. And after we're done with our practice, Mo and Andy go out and start running poles. So now I'm looking around, and I'm the only one that's walking back in, you know, after these guys already have 4 world championships. You know, Mo's on his way to the Hall of Fame. He's the greatest closer of all time. Andy should be in the Hall of Fame. He's, you know, the best postseason pitcher of all time. And now I'm following their lead, you know. So it was just incredible to be able to have those guys in my corner. And I don't think, you know, my career ends up the way it was at the end if I don't have those two in my corner. Never played to be here, but it feels good to be here. You know, it feels right. It feels like I fulfilled my dad's prophecy or his dream or whatever he had in store for me. So I'm just super excited to be able to kind of put this icing on the cake and have my career recognized as a Hall of Famer. I mean, it's crazy and it's incredible to think about, and, you know, just starting thinking about my journey from Vallejo and ended up here in Cooperstown. It's hard to describe, man. But just being here and having my career be recognized as a Hall of Famer is, like I keep saying, icing on the cake.
CC won 251 games across 19 seasons with the Indians, Brewers, and Yankees, with his crown jewel achievement coming in 2009 when he won the World Series with the Yankees and was named MVP of the American League Championship Series. Sabathia has a Cy Young Award on his resume. He was a 6-time All-Star, and he was the 14th pitcher with 250 wins and 3,000 strikeouts. Congratulations, CC Sabathia.